there is probably a bigger notice that one must see and understand when playing the right game. We are more focused on achieving greater dreams and making things work the way it should, but we forget to correct some errors that has been made for a very long time. You see, one of the most important things that we should all learn is that there is a very big wind on what we preach on daily basis, and one of it is the true sense of nature. The true sense of nature. That is where the whole thing started from. You see, we cannot be intimidated by what we preach or what we teach. But the most important thing here is that we're people that comprise the nature of what we share. And the things we continue to conserve. And this is the biggest story that we share. So Biafra has remained a voice that we must continue to hold on to. And that's where the whole situation room has begun. We must continue. You know that. You know that. We must continue. Now there's every attitude and every concern on the things that we push. Because one of the most important things here we have to admit is that no matter what happens, we must put ourselves in that very scenario where we are one big people. And that's where the whole story lies. So as we continue to contact the very audacity and more peculiar knowledge, we must see ourselves in that big light, in that bigger picture, where consistency remains the question of the day. There's no two ways about it. I guess Zioma is here to the last. And by so doing, we must put ourselves together to see the very outcome of what we pursue. So the M26, remember that the M16 was delivered a few months ago, and now the M16 is delivered again. This is just the beginning of what we pursue. There's a greater knowledge in what we spread, and before you know it, things will begin to fly from left to corner, from corner to left, and this victory will be announced. That is how Biafra come about. Let's just be guided. We have to understand these things, the way they work. And that is where the whole situation room must begin. So, as we continue in this path, let's not, with any kind of viscosity, promote fear. What we preach. Yes, Biafra has become a struggle, and it must look to the extent and so the very thing to continue to look into in what we are about to say is that Biafra has become a great source, a great source to everybody. And that's where the story lies. That's where the story lies. We are communicating in a very larger extent, and we're building a friendship that is going to take time to be built. But one of the most important points is that no matter how hard they try to whisk it, to throw it aside, it's going to become Biafra or nothing. And that's one thing I can assure each and every one of us. Biafra or nothing is an inevitable sound, a possible knowledge that one should spread. So, as we communicate to put ourselves in that very circle, we must equally understand that nothing is unstoppable. And that's where the whole story is. Nothing is unstoppable. Nothing can be denied and nothing can be taken for granted for too long. Because that's the true energy of what we want from the Nigerian people, to see that Biafrans can equally defend themselves. So as we push towards the positive side, we must again, in our own reference, without dispute, help ourselves to communicate to a larger crowd and to feel among in every possible effect. Yes. And to feel among in every possible effect. That's where the whole story lies. Nothing can stop us. Nothing can throw the bond. And nothing can make us fool ourselves. So we must communicate to that large extent. And we must do ourselves a very, very good progress to have ourselves. So let's be guided. It's only a question of time and season. Things will unfold itself. We're not the people that should be taken for granted. We're not the people that should be looked as if we do not know what we are doing. We're people that must continue in the right path. And that is where Biafra has taken us.